Hi, I'm Claude.
And I'm Clinton, and we're the Lamest Defenders. On today's episode, we review Moon Knight Episode 1. Does it leave us wanting to be embalmed or howling at the moon?
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Hi, Thanos. We're the Lamest Defenders.
I don't even know who you are.
We have a small but dedicated fan base.
Be sure to visit our sponsor at BaskervilleProductions.com.
So, welcome back. So, for this one, it opens up with Harrow.
I did that earlier.
Yeah.
I got in his head.
Yeah. So Harrow is played by Ethan Hawke, and it shows him just drinking whatever. I think he was having
Like
a little
whiskey or something.
Yeah,
like
a
that.
little brandy. You know how we do. So he has that little the little glass, and he decides, like everybody else, like I want to smash this thing and put it in my shoe. And he sprinkles his
As
little
one does.
he sprinkles his little glass all over his shoe, and then I don't know if he had like a pain fetish or something. And then you just see him crunching his little slippers.
I'm sure it was some type of like
For his
something
god
out
or
of like
something.
Angels and Demons kind of thing where they whip themselves, prostate themselves.
Prostate? I don't think it's prostate.
No, I'm sure it is.
You know, where they put a butt plug in and they start walking around, you know, doing their job. So after he puts in his butt plug in his glass, it cuts to Stephen Grant, our main character in this show, played by Oscar Isaac, and he wakes up and he finds himself chained to his bed or like strapped down to his bed. You know, so you know, what the hell is this guy filming for OnlyFans? He's got a butt plug in too. He's like, what the hell happened last night? Well, it turns out he's got
show.
This is really weird, Disney Plus. Kevin Feige strikes again.
Yeah.
And so it turns out he has he sleepwalks.
Yeah.
Or he imagines himself. Where
Yeah.
You don't really know
He
at this
thinks he
point.
does.
Yeah. And that's why he straps himself to the bed.
Yeah.
And in this, he has, I believe, so he's definitely in England, but I don't know, was it London?
It is London, yeah.
It is
he
London?
works in London. He works at the Natural Museum, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's an there's an Egyptian exhibit, wow, and he works at the gift shop. But he knows an awful lot about Egyptian artifacts and history, and he starts telling this museum goer, this little girl, and he starts telling her all about this kind of
Some
stuff.
candy.
Yeah, right, yeah. And he just gets berated by his supervisor, Donna, who sucks, and I hate her.
Not as bad as Darcy or Katie.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But she just tells him, you're not a tour guide, you're a shopkeep.
sell toys.
Like, sell toys. Mm-hmm. Like, how dare you? We don't want our employees to know things. Go, shoo. So it's just that pissed me off. Like, I hate
That was
so
realistic
much.
to retail, though. So.
I don't know, but
Whatever.
And so he goes to and she punishes him by making him do inventory overnight and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, she's see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Jinxies.
So then he blacks out and he ends up in this quaint little English village. At least I assume it is, because I assume he's still in England
How could he
somewhere.
get home later?
Yeah.
And his jaw's completely dislocated.
Yeah.
He's all swollen up.
Yeah, he ends up waving high back to the castle he was clearly thrown out of.
Yeah, I really like that part.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy out the window, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
The guy waves at him too. He's like, "Oh, get him!" He's
Start shooting at him.
And then Stephen Grant is like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm getting shot at," and he has to escape from these random guys. And you said, I didn't notice this, but you said all the bodyguards.
Yeah, all the bodyguards are dressed exactly the
Henchman
same.
1. They'll have name tags.
They look exactly the same. They got this little vest and just the same colored shirt and everything. So just wow, okay, you guys are not hiding anything in this place. I like it.
And one of my favorite parts of the entire episode was he eventually gets to I guess a smaller, quiet little town village. Run me a D&D. This tiny town, and Harrow's there.
Yeah, he's holding court.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because he is this cult leader, basically. And
Yeah.
he has this little cane, and then he's judging people. And it kind of reminded me, too, of Minority Report, where it judges you on everything you've done to this point on, but also for the future, too. So you could be innocent now, but who knows what you do.
Yeah.
And then, so one guy gets judged willingly, and he was okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then a woman, an older lady, does it, and then his bro tattoo.
Yeah.
Haro, or whatever his name is, it moves too, and it turns red whenever it finds somebody that is not so innocent or whatever, and he just sucks the old lady juice out of her. Dead.
Yeah. A great show don't tell part of that show of this particular episode. I love that. Like, it's just this little tattoo with scales, and the scales will move and it reflects what it does, and it's like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, like, I really like that.
What if it was like a big busty woman? It's just you dancing. That's really what the tattoo would be in 2022. I feel like
it would be some hipster kind of.
Yeah, smoking a cigarette, hand rolled, of course.
So yeah, so one of the guard comes up to him and says, we lost the item, and it's this gold scarab that is in Steven's pocket.
Reminds me of Aladdin, because there's a
little bit, yeah. So Harrow yells out this Egyptian command. Everybody kneels, but Steven doesn't know the command, so he's the only one that's standing. He just goes, "Oh, bucks!" So like,
there's your guy.
Yeah. So they have this talk, and he tries. Like, Steven's willing to give up the scarab.
Yeah, because he has no idea what's going on.
No, but the voice of Khonshu, voiced by F. Murray Abraham, who was if anyone's seen Amadeus, it's the Salieri, who was Mozart's I guess foil in that movie. But yeah, he's a great actor.
Didn't expect him to voice
No, I was
Khonshu.
so shocked he was voicing this.
After reading the comics, I always thought like Khonshu's voice would be like a shrieky, like almost like a horror movie type voice.
Oh yeah, kind of like with no tongue. Yeah, that makes sense.
Big.
Yeah. So he tells him, you are not giving him that scarab, and he basically
bitch.
So he controls his body, and he's like, and I have to admit, Ethan Hawke, he is a very cool but menacing villain, and I mean cool as in calm, and he is just like, I'm not going to ask you again. Like, give me that scarab. Like, he's very just like, he's not menacing at all. But
I like how he cares about his followers too. Like after he's like, I'm sorry that like, I believe you.
Yeah. I believe you, but it could be something you're about to do in the future.
And I think that kind of like plays into Ethan Hawke's been in a lot of horror movies lately.
Yeah,
the last like 10 years, and I'm like, maybe he gets that ambiance like presence from those too. So
yeah, no, he's doing a great job so far. But yeah, so Steven won't give him the scarab. Then he blacks out and he's driving.
Every time he blacks out, his other personality is Marc Spector. But you don't get to see Marc Spector do the violence thing. It's just focused on the Weasel, who has no idea what's going on. He's in an ice cream truck, basically, going down like an English village, like a really like narrow road.
Yeah, with George Michael's "Wake Me Up" before you go playing, which was great. I love that so much. And as one of the goons is like getting in the back of the ice cream truck, he takes a cupcake and puts it in his face and like smashes it.
Sorry.
And the goon fights through it, but I wish he would have done something like in The Naked Gun, where he's just so over dramatic, like
maybe like a mini explosion or something. It rolls out.
It rolls out of the bag. So like, that would have been fantastic. I would have loved it.
Yeah, there's also another part that I really liked in this is like he blacks out again because that's where Marc Spector kicks ass, and then it shows back to Stephen Grant, and then he's driving in reverse, and then he has a gun, and a normal person or whatever would shoot at the guy that's in front of him, the henchman chasing him, and he ends up just throwing the gun at him. The guy's like,
and then Khonshu's like, did you just throw the gun? He keeps calling Steven the idiot too, like, which I love.
Yeah.
So I like the Khonshu god so far. He's pretty funny.
And then so one thing I will harp on this, I harp on it pretty much every Disney Plus show, is because it's a show, the CGI budget just doesn't seem very high, and then there's that log truck or whatever rolls around. It kind of looked like big hot dogs rolling down. I was like, okay.
Takes out like all the goons.
Yeah. Too. Tens of people died.
After the falling hot dogs takes out the goons, he blacks out. He's back in London, and he has a date from someone that he he works with at the museum.
One hot mama too.
And he calls her because she's late, and he's like, "Hey, it's steak time. Yummy
Get
steak,
your
steak."
num-nums.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So she's like, "Oh, you got a lot of nerve calling me because I had steak 2 days ago on Friday." He's like, "But it is Friday." He's like, "No, it's Sunday." He's like, "Oh." And he had no idea. He just completely lost 2 days. He lost a weekend. And we've all been there. We all just blacked out on Friday. And
Weekend
woke up on
blender,
Sunday.
baby.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he wasn't in England then. If it took him like that many days, maybe that little village,
Maybe
he's in Switzerland or something crazy.
So my biggest problem with this episode is what happens at the restaurant, because the waiter comes up to him and is like, "Well, our kitchen's about to close. Do you want anything to eat?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll have a steak. The best part of the steak, well done. It's beef jerky. Like, what are you wasting everyone's time for?
Animal.
Like, don't get a steak well done."
What's wrong with you, Disney Plus?
Yeah,
You idiots.
So that was a big problem, and then it just like
That took me out of the experience. I had to just leave.
I
at
turned
that
it off.
point. I'll read about the rest of the episode later. So after he gets his yummy yum yums, he's back and he wants to go, or he's on the way to work, and then on the little bus he sees Haro there, Haro, wherever you pronounce
Haro.
it. Yeah, and he sees him on the bus. He's like, "Oh my god!" Because his reaction with his first interaction with him was it was all a dream.
Yeah,
that's what he
thinks
initially
it's all
thinks.
yeah.
And turns out it's not.
Nope.
And he's freaking out, and he talks to the security guard at the museum. Everybody that he works with hates him because they know he's just a soy
He's just
boy.
so meek. Yeah, he's just he's very nice, but he's so like pathetic too, and it just drives me crazy that any person would act like this. But
And then he's talking to the security guard, and he's like, "You need to stop anyone that looks suspicious for coming into this museum." And he's like, "Mate, it's a public property, like public building. Anyone can walk in." And sure enough,
he walks right in.
Yeah. Ethan Hawke with his cane, ready to judge people. And it was kind of weird to me because I guess everybody in this museum is part of this cult. Because like you had like people like guests like going in this museum and stuff, and everyone just clears out because the entire museum's like completely clear by the time he gets in. And his boss isn't part of this cult. Like it's just like, is everyone part of this?
Yeah.
And then so Ethan Hawke's character does eventually do the judgment to Stephen Grant, because Stephen Grant, he's like, whatever, it's just a cane.
Because he doesn't know what it's kind of like just happening around him.
Yeah, and he wants to. Yeah, and it's not like he has a scarab on him, so he's like, whatever, put your cane and wiener thing on me. And then it turns out because it judges people, and then Ethan Hawke says you have a lot of chaos in you, so we don't know if that's bad or good or maybe somewhere in the middle.
I like think it's trying to judge all three.
That's true.
Personalities. So maybe it was doing that. It's just getting confused. Like I don't know what's happening. So and you saw the scales just going absolutely crazy. And
saw the bussy woman with the cigarette. And then go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I was gonna say like he leaves, and again Harold just lets him go. He's like, no, just let him go. And he's just so menacing, but being so calm about it. It's crazy. It drives me nuts. But
then you hear, and then because the museum is like all the lights are off now.
He's doing the inventory.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, Shaggy Dog," like from Game of Thrones. He's trying to find this dog, and then it turns out Haro sent basically this mutant dog. Egyptian
it's like
dog.
this mummified dog kind of looking thing. It was.
Which I will say, as crappy as some of the CGI was earlier, I think all the budget went to this.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds about right.
It looked really good, surprisingly.
So the dog's chasing Stephen Grant, chases him into the bathroom, and then the mirrors on both sides with the sinks is where we finally get our Marc Spector moment where he's like, "Hey, let me handle this. I can do this. This is on me. I got this." And I like this shot because you see all the reflections in Stephen Grant's side, but when it cuts to Marc Spector, you don't see any reflection. It is just Marc Spector, and you still see all the mirrors behind him. So it's just kind of like, oh, is this just him now? It's like, this is like, I'm the only one who can do this. Like, focus.
He just stays in there.
Yeah, focus now. So
and then he's like, I can save us. And then so at that point, he turns into Moon Knight. You see the costume, and you said you like the costume.
I do like the costume. I think it looks pretty cool. I like that it kind of looks a little corny, honestly. This is a comic book show.
Yeah,
it should look kind of corny.
Yeah, it's Moon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, it is Moon Knight. He wears all white at night.
Yeah.
He sticks out, so it's pretty great.
The one thing that I will say Because he kind of looks like, I get it, it's a mummy. Like, it's mummy-inspired, Egyptian or whatever. In the comics, it's not really like that. It's more just like a spandex suit. Yeah. But for this, because he's got, like, these mummy, like, wrappings, I'm like, if he gets bloody, he's going to look like a tampon. Like, super absorbent tampon.
New blood.
I was like, we'll see where this goes. And then, so the dog's barking at the gate, and then he finally gets in. And then you're like, you hear a bunch of rumbling and roughhousing. And you see the dog come out of the bathroom, and he gets dragged in. And I was like, I think he's banging the dog. or like,
this dog pound.
But no, he's just beating the crap out of it.
Yeah, and then he knocks the dog unconscious, and then he turns around and you see like the top part of the costume, and that's the end. That's the first episode. Yeah,
and I wonder, like, it makes you think too. I'm like, does that dog just poof at it like in a thing of smoke? Because how are you gonna explain that in the morning?
How are you gonna explain the bathroom? Yeah, just completely
some
destroyed.
Local like a homeless pervert.
I just want Donna to be like, that's coming out of your pay.
Like, just another thing is, like, how does this guy work at a minimum wage job in London and be able to afford an apartment?
Yeah, have like a nice loft.
London's like New York City.
I think it's worse actually, because you can't build anything new there.
Whatever.
But but minor gripes aside, I really enjoyed this. I was shocked, like we were talking before, how like the first few shows of Disney Plus were kind of crap. Like Falcon Winter Soldier, excited. I don't even want to talk about that anymore. But Loki was better. Hawkeye was great, and like it elevated my expectations for this. I was excited because I do like the character of Moon Knight, and I was excited for this one. It really didn't disappoint me yet. So I'm giving it an 8. I really enjoyed it.
No, I totally agree with you. Everything, like, even with the minor gripes with the CGI, I mean, it's a TV show. Like, you can't expect a movie budget for this.
And even some of the movie ones, like Age of Ultron.
I mean, even No Way Home sometimes with the lizard, it looked terrible. Yeah. But I still, I really liked it. I think Oscar Isaac is a perfect Marc Spector, along with his other personalities. I really enjoyed this. I think Ethan Hawke is going to blow it out of the water.
I think he's going to be great.
He was a highlight for me.
Yeah.
So I just hope they're, like, going on forward, like, I hope there's not a whole lot of Stephen Grant. Like, I get it. Like, that's the whole thing with the character.
It's going to be a lot of flashbacks.
Just like, because I wish probably my biggest gripe is Marc Spector's at the end, and you don't get to see him very much in this one. And then when it shows it, you want a lot more of it because you're kind of exhausted with Stephen Grant.
Sure.
But maybe that was an intention.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a ton of flashbacks later on.
Yep,
and that seems to be their MO.
Yeah, and I agree. I'd give it an 8.0. Hopefully they don't rush it all the other Disney Plus shows, especially the early ones. Because this one's a slow burn, and there's only five more episodes. So but we'll see.
Yeah, I do like too that it was set in London. How they've purposely taken it out of the MCU. Basically, like they want this to be its own standalone thing, which I really respect. That
not everything has to be in New York City.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, that's our review for Moon Knight. We really liked it, and let us know in the comments below what you thought, and we'll catch you guys next week for episode 2.
Thanks so much. Stay lame.
Bye.